Okay, so my name is Robin Webb. I will be interviewing my grandpa. Please state your name.
Harvey Thomas.
Okay, so can you tell me your full name and the year you were born?
Harvey Thomas, 1936.
And where are some of the places where you grew up?
Fort Smith, Arkansas. Coffeyville, Kansas.
What is your ethnic background?
What do you mean?
What do you identify as?
Black.
Just black? Okay. What was your family life like?
It was great. We were poor, but we were happy.
And what was your relationship like with your family?
Great.
You got any details for that?
Huh?
You got any details or anything you want to talk about specifically? Feel free to explain or put a detail or any extra thought.
It's not much to talk about. We usually travel from Coffeyville to, we go on vacation every summer. We go from Coffeyville to Fort Smith, or we go to Muskogee and then visit with my mother and dad's friends. And I played in all the sports, and my parents attended the games, so
What sports did you play?
baseball and basketball,
What position in baseball?
pitch and third base.
Oh. I played third base when I played softball and shortstop. Then basketball, were you a guard?
Guard.
Okay. Do you remember how many points you scored a game?
No,
Okay. What were your siblings like?
I only had one sister, and we were close. I used to tease her a lot, but we had a lot of fun.
Was that your big sister or little sister?
She's 2 years older than me.
So you were that little brother teasing your big sister. Okay.
Yeah, I used to hit her and run, and then she'd try to catch me to get her leg back, and I let her almost catch me, and just when she thought she was going to get to her leg, I'd run away from her, and that would make her more angry.
Yeah, I'll get mad if Ricky or Ryan or any of them did that. So, can you tell me what your parents were like?
Well, they were attentive. My mother had tuberculosis, so she was in the sanitarium when I was in the ninth and 10th grade. So my sister and my dad and I were the only ones at home. So my dad would fix our breakfast if we got up with him before he went to work, and then after that we pretty much had to fix our own meals.
Where did he work when you said he went?
The Ozark Smelting and Mining Company.
Okay. Now, when you said he fixed breakfast, did he make bacon and eggs or some cereal?
Bacon and eggs.
Okay.
We weren't much of a cereal family.
What was it like where you were born and grew up?
I don't know. I was born in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and we moved away from there when I was 2.
So from 2 on,
I was in Coffeyville, Kansas.
and what was it like out there in Kansas?
It was a great place to grow up in as a kid because you didn't have to worry about the things that people in cities worried about. where we could play outside and no one had to worry about us being shot at or people's trying to sell us dope. I didn't even know about dope till I went in the Air Force at age 17.
Oh. Well, how's the weather out there?
Kansas has real hot summers for a couple of months and super cold winters. And then you're always under tornado watch.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, how would you describe yourself to someone who is meeting you for the first time?
What do you mean, how would I describe myself?
So, example would be someone, if you never met me and this was your first time talking to me, I would say I'm outgoing, athletic, talkative, social, like things like that. So how would you
I
describe
wouldn't have
yourself?
that type of conversation with anyone. But I'm outgoing, social, athletic.
Oh, you athletic?
I was, but I'm not now. But when I was young, I was athletic, outgoing, social.
Were you fit?
Absolutely. I didn't gain weight till I was in my 40s.
Oh, so you just had it all going, huh? So, what were the important things that you
I
say-
actually played competitive basketball in the city leagues around LA up until my age, till I was in my 40s.
Oh, so were you still playing as guard or
Guard. Too short to play anything else.
how tall were you?
6.
So okay, what was it like playing competitive ball?
It was fun. It was basketball was always my escape. When I was in the Air Force and you'd be lonely or down, just go to the gym and just shoot some hoops and that would solve it. Yeah, when I went in the Air Force at age 17 and I played on the base basketball team. So I got to travel all over Europe. I was stationed in England for 3 years. And I got to travel all over Europe playing basketball.
So let's talk about the Air Force. What made you go? You say you went into the Air Force at 17?
Right out of high school.
So what made you make that choice?
Well, I didn't want to. My sister was already going to Kansas State University. My mother and dad were struggling to pay for that, so I didn't want to burden them sending me to college. So I wanted to get out of this small town, and Air Force was the easy way out.
Now, are there any memories you made in the Air Force or?
Yeah, bad memories.
Oh. Do they?
No, the Air Force was okay. I guess the most memorable thing would be that when I went to England and playing basketball all over Europe, making the base team and getting to travel all over Europe playing ball.
Now, any bad memories from the Air Force? Do they stick with you today, or you just left them in the past?
I have a couple of friends that I was stationed in England with that we still stay in touch.
That's good. So, what were the important things that you saved for, if you saved for anything important?
Mean save money?
Yeah.
Well, up until I was almost about to retire, I didn't have any money to save. We were too busy, trying to take care of the kids and maintain a house, buy a house, keep a new car. So it wasn't a bunch of money left over to save.
Okay, so there wasn't a set time frame how long it took you to achieve a goal to save anything, or
Like I said, until let's see, I guess I started saving when I was about 5 years from retirement. And then I didn't retire. I retired from the county. I went to Glendale as their building official. And I worked there 7 years. And then when I retired from that, I did consulting for about 15 years. So, and those were the periods that I was able to save money.
now, what were you saving money for?
Nothing.
Just so you can save and have it?
Just I was able to save.
Do you know anything about your grandparents or your great grandparents?
No, my grandparents were dead when I was a kid. I have no memories of grandparents.
Can you describe your daily life as a child?
Well, when school was going on, we'd go to school, come home, you'd get to play a little bit before dark, and you'd come in and do your homework and go to bed.
Now, that's how every day went, or you had a set routine?
Pretty much went like that.
So, when you played as a child, what
And, and then in the summertime, we'd go to the playground almost every day where the swimming pool was and swim. Or if the baseball season had started, we would go over there for baseball practice. And on the weekends, we'd usually travel or have a game in town.
Do you remember some of the places you traveled? Now, when you say traveled, do you mean with your family? Or
Now the baseball team would travel to the various towns in Kansas and Oklahoma to play ball. We'd travel to Chanute, Kansas City, Tulsa, let's see, Cherryville, Pawhuska, all the little towns around in that area had baseball teams, and we were in a league, and we'd travel and play against those teams.
out of all those places, do you have a favorite that you've been to?
I didn't particularly like any of the towns in Kansas and Oklahoma.
No, why didn't you like them?
There's just nothing there. They were just little small country towns.
Okay. So besides what you told me, were there any other things you did for fun as a child?
No, as a kid, we pretty much played ball. We went to school, and that was it.
Okay. What? Were you closer to your mother or your father? Or with your mother?
I'd say I was equal.
What would you describe your relationship strictly with your parents, with you and your parents?
We had a great relationship.
That's nice. Anything else you want to add besides that being a great relationship?
Well, as I grew older, to be a teenager, we used to tease with our parents, and we did a lot of laughing and joking. And like I said, in the summertime we traveled and visit the relatives in Fort Smith, and then we'd also travel and visit some people my mother and dad grew up with in Muskogee, and they had children our age, and if he survived, they'd come stay with us. So that was basically it. And but my mother was in the sanitarium. We would drive up to Norton to visit her, but we were kids. We really could visit her. She could come outside and see us, but we had to keep our distance.
Now, what relatives did you have? You said Fort Smith?
I had 2 aunties, a couple of uncles in Fort Smith.
And before you was talking about Kansas was on tornado watch, was there ever a tornado that occurred while you were living out there?
No. We never had a tornado, but we were always under a tornado watch, especially in the summertime.
So, can you tell me what your most memorable activity with your family was?
Probably when we all came out to California together.
Was it a trip or to stay?
That was after I got out of the Air Force. I went home and decided to move to California, and my mother and dad came with me. They came out here with me when I moved out. They came out on vacation. They went back. But my sister was already living out here.
So let's talk about middle school. So who were your friends in middle school or junior high?
See, Percy Lau, Al Tate.
Percy who?
Lau, Al Tate, Tony Grubbs.
Grubbs. Were those just 2 of your good friends or best friends?
Best friends. Then I had a cousin, Donald Brown. We were like brothers.
Now, did those same friends this was in middle school or high school?
This was all the way through grade school, middle school, and high school.
Besides those 3, did you have any other friends that you made along the way?
Yeah, I had several friends. I don't know how close you would consider them, but when you're in a small town, you know everybody, so you're pretty much considered friends with everyone that you're not enemies with. And I didn't have any enemies.
None at all.
None. Never had a fight.
Any disagreements or arguments?
Of course.
With any of your friends or just other kids?
Mostly when we were playing ball.
Well, did you participate in any sports or social clubs in high school?
No social clubs, but I played on the high school basketball team.
How was that? What was it like? Were you the star? Were you just playing it, just play it?
I was up and down. I'd be a starter for 2 or 3 games, and the coach would yank me for a game or 2, and then I'd get to start again, and I'd get yanked again. I was a star in junior high when I went to high school. Junior high, and then when I played on the B team as a sophomore, I was the star. When I got varsity, the coach didn't particularly care for me, so I was up and down there.
Do you know why the coach didn't care for you?
No.
Now, when you played basketball, were you one of those players that had a mouth on you?
No.
Could you shoot a 3?
We didn't have 3 points, but I did shoot a 3. I used to shoot deep out of the side, which is a 3 now. I can make about 8 out of 10 out of the deep side.
So if you guys didn't have 3s, were you Was it always layups and two? Like, how did that go?
It was everything was 2 point,
Oh, okay.
except the free throw.
1 point?
Yeah, it's 1.9.
Yes. Okay, so what were your plans?
The only thing that's changed in basketball is the 3 point play.
That's it? Okay. Did you foul? Were you one of those people that hand check or fouled a lot?
No,
Okay. So, what were your plans after high school?
at first to go to college and be an engineer, but then I saw the expense it was costing my parents, so I joined the Air Force.
Now,
When I got out of the Air Force, then I went to college to be an engineer.
what area to be engineering? Did you want to specialize in a certain area or
Electrical.
Okay. Now, what made you want to do electrical?
That's what interests me.
Now, did you have that interest since you were younger, growing up, or just during adulthood?
That came with adult life.
So, my question was, did you attend college or trade school after high school? But I know you did, so can you tell me which school you attended?
I went to LA City College for 2 years, and then I transferred to California State University of Los Angeles.
Where I go today.
And I went to my junior year in engineering, and I dropped out. And I stayed out of school for 3 years. And then I went back and decided that to get an engineering degree, I'd have to repeat too many classes. So I got a degree in public administration.
Now, why did you originally drop out school?
All my schooling was done while I was working full time. So I guess the pressure working full time on school at night got to me.
Were you a full-time student or part-time while going to work?
I was a full-time student in night school because I was under the GI Bill, so you had to be a full-time student. So I was a full-time student going to school at night and working 8 hours a day.
Do you remember any of your teachers from when you went to school? Did you particularly like anyone?
Any what?
Did you like any of your teachers or remember any of them? Or when you finished school, you just forgot about them?
I didn't have any particular favorite teacher. I discovered that some of the physics and math teachers in the earlier classes made the class unnecessarily difficult. And as you progressed in the subject, you realized, as you took the higher courses, you realized that this guy back at the beginning course made that course unnecessarily difficult. And I never understood that, why they made that course unnecessarily difficult.
Can you describe what you did for a living? What jobs did you have?
When I first got to the Air Force, I worked for the welfare office as an accounting clerk. Then I went to work for flood control in a testing lab. And I did concrete testing. And then I moved over to soils testing and worked on a soils testing crew. Then I went to building and safety as a building inspector. And I worked as a building inspector for years with county building and safety and retired. I went to Glendale as Glendale's building inspection administrator. And I worked there for 7 years, retired again, and worked as a consultant, sitting on power plants as a certified building official.
So what's concrete testing?
You make concrete cylinders and test them for strength. You test them for 7, 14, and 28-day strength. Concrete is designed to meet a certain strength, and you take cylinders from each batch to see that the concrete is tested and make sure the concrete develops the strength that it was designed to meet.
Okay. So, what are some things that you are proud of to this day?
Well, I guess I'm proud that my 3 kids were able to go to school and didn't get in any trouble. None of them got involved in the dope scene, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I was able to be able to own my own home and live a comfortable life.
Now, you purchased your first home by yourself at what age?
I don't know, about 23.
Okay. Look at you. So,
But I had the GI Bill.
okay. Yeah. Now, okay, so what was your first home like that you purchased?
It was the one on 52nd Street.
Okay, can you tell me about the one on 52nd Street?
It was just a little small 2-bedroom home.
That's it? Nothing else?
That's it. With a detached garage out in the back and a parking off an alley. And we made it a duplex with an attached garage and parking off the street.
What about the backyard?
Huh?
What about the backyard?
What about the backyard?
Did you have any trees, flowers? Did you garden?
We had a walnut tree back there in the backyard, but we cut it down so we could build the duplex. But when the kids were small, the yard was so big we could play ball back there. We could play softball back there.
So, how many kids did you have?
3. 2 girls and a boy.
Now, did you only want boys, or did you want a girl? What did?
I didn't really care.
Okay. I'm so curious